It started with a sound, not a bang, not a scream. It was a low, guttural hum, a vibration that shook the plate glass of Sarge's shooters and supplies. I was just finishing up my shift, counting the till, getting ready to lock up, head home. The hum grew louder. It was the sound of 1,000 shuffling feet, 1,000 groaning throats. I peered through the blinds, my heart thumping a frantic rhythm against my ribs. The street was gone, swallowed by a tide of bodies. They weren't people anymore. Their eyes were milky white, their mouths hung open, drooling a thick black fluid. They just kept coming, a river of death flowing down Main Street. Coins clattered across the floor, impossibly loud in the growing silence. But the smell hit me then. The stench of decay, of old blood and rot, seeped through the cracks around the door. It was real. The world I knew, with bills to pay and plans for the weekend, had just ended. Bills to pay, plans for the weekend. Right outside my window. Every instinct screamed at me to run, hide, do something, anything. But my feet felt bolted to the floor. The first one hit the glass. A sickening thud. A woman in a tattered business suit, half her face missing, clawed at the window. Her nails scraped against the pane, leaving bloody streaks. Then another, and another. Soon, the entire storefront was a writhing mass of decaying flesh and desperate, grasping hands. They weren't smart. They didn't seem to be thinking. They just wanted in. They could sense me, smell me. The living, breathing meal trapped inside. This store, this cage, was either my tomb or my salvation. It was up to me to decide which. My name is Alex. I'm not a hero. I'm not a soldier. I'm just a guy who worked in a gun store. A guy who knew a little about firearms and a lot about stocking shelves, but in that moment, none of that mattered. All that mattered was the primal, burning need to survive, to see another sunrise. The dead were pounding on the glass, their groans a constant, maddening chorus. I looked around the store, at rifles, the glass cases filled with handguns. For the first time, I didn't see merchandise. I saw tools. I saw a chance. A slim, terrifying chance. The world outside was gone. This store was my world now. The siege had begun. The front door was the weak point. Standard glass, aluminum frame. It wouldn't hold for long. I had to reinforce it. Now, the display counters. Oak, heavy as sin. I grabbed a long rifle case and shoved. It slid with a scream. I wedged it tight. Not enough. Another counter. A metal shelving unit. Boxes of ammunition stacked high. I piled them on. Wood, steel, brass. With the door blocked, the windows. Reinforced, but for how long? I dragged out plywood, stapled thick canvas over glass. Then the drill, each screw a taunt. I'm still here, one window at a time. By the end my hands were raw. The sounds were muffled. I had bought myself time. Silence is a funny thing. You don't know how much you miss it until it's gone. The drip of a leaky pipe. But over it all, the sound of the dead, a symphony of horror. I had a front row seat, the low collective groan, the bass line, into my bones, a world that died and forgot to lie down. Then the percussion, patient, steady, thump, 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 a high-pitched scrape, nails searching for a weakness. I started patrols, front barricade, back door, side windows, wet breaths through the mail slot. I jammed a cleaning rod. My ears became my weapon, the wet slap of bodies, the dry crackle of bone. Night was worst. I couldn't see them, but I heard every shuffle, and they were waiting. Days blurred into one long, terrifying night. I survived on stale protein bars and bottled water. The loneliness was a physical weight. I was checking inventory when I saw it. Sarge's old ham radio. He'd always tinkered with it. I never paid it much attention. Now it looked like a lifeline. I flipped it on, nothing but static. I turned the dials hoping for a miracle. Then I heard it. A voice.
Anyone there? Is anyone receiving this broadcast? Over.
Hello? Yes, I'm here. I can hear you. Silence stretched for an eternity.
I copy. Thank God. I thought I was alone. My name is Sarah. I'm at the old radio station on the hill.
There was someone else out there. Another survivor. Her voice. A beacon in the darkness. We talked for hours. She was a DJ at the college station, barricaded inside, with a view. She became my eyes. She told me how the hordes moved, their patterns. She gave me hope. A reason to keep fighting. We were a team. The thumping on the walls got worse. They'd found a weak spot near the loading bay. I had guns, but firing them would be a dinner bell. I needed something quiet. My mind went to scraps and parts. The idea, a long-reach, silent flamethrower. A whoosh instead of a bang. After duds, it worked, engulfing a box in fire. Beautiful and terrifying. I made more. My ace in the hole. I strung alarms. Trip a line, cascade of brass. Cheap, effective, ammo neutral. I wasn't just hiding. I was adapting. Using the store for its soul.
They're massing at your northwest corner, Alex. The whole street is shifting that way.
The chipping turned to pounding. Twice the tripwire went off. I needed to draw them away. Fire and noise. A diversion. Sarge's old promo RC truck. Centerpiece of my plan. I strapped on a flare and a small tank, punched a tiny leak. The harsh red filled the store. I steered it away, down the street. The hissing and light got their attention. One by one, then dozens. They followed, like moths to a flame. It was working. The pounding stopped. I'd bought breathing room. I patched the wall when I heard it. A child crying. A woman soothing. Please be quiet. They were trapped. There's a woman and a child. They're trapped. To help them, I'd have to open the steel side door. It would compromise my fortress. It could draw the horde back. The dinner bell rang. I couldn't listen and do nothing. Sarah, I'm going to try to get them in. Survival isn't just breathing. It's living with yourself after. My plan was simple and stupid. I cracked the side door. They were closing in. 1 down, 2. The third found me. 3. Now. 20 feet of terror. The sound carried. We were in, but not safe. The door wouldn't close. More bodies hit the steel. The thin red line was about to break. Help me! Together, we pushed. The bone shattered. The door slammed. We made it. But we weren't safe. The entire horde focused on the store. Fresh meat in a tin can.
I'm sorry, we've doomed you.
It's not over yet.
The whole street is lit up with them. You have to get out. That building is a tomb.
Maybe an hour, maybe 2.
The roof, I can see the ladder from here.
A long shot, a last roll of the dice. The climb was terrifying. The hatch fought me, screeching like a siren. The air was fresh. The noise up here, deafening. We got them onto the roof. We'd been in the center of that. The jump looked farther from up here, barely half the drop. I ran and leaped. For a second I was flying. I hit hard but held. Lena tied Maya with our makeshift line. Let go, I'll catch her. We tumbled, but she was safe. She wasn't alone. One had made the roof.